What's up, guys? We're gonna BroBeatz, and today we're gonna be doing a breakdown of a video we did over at Producer Portal. Now, this is a new series there where we go through every single plugin, every new plugin, starting with the free and stock plugins, and we're gonna specifically be making a beat with that plugin. So here you can see we have Vital. So we're going to be doing that. And as we go through this breakdown, I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks on how you can make some professional beats just using some free plugins and whatnot. If at any point in this video you want to check it out, the links will be in the description or in the comment section down below. We're going to go ahead and do the breakdown of the melody first. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Now I'm going to go ahead and break down the melody. So with this melody, I wanted a more synthy-like sample. So we started with our chords, of course, and I'll just show you the preset. So this is the chimes pad, okay? And this is what we came up with here. Let's go ahead and zoom in. So this is the chords we came up with, and this is the backbone. So we really wanted to make sure these sounded good. And you can see it kind of already set the mood and tone for everything. So this first step, when you like bring in those chords or whatever melody you want to make first, even the sound selection is going to determine almost everything going forward, because everything on top is just making it unique, because everyone could just copy these chords and be done with it, right? You could just copy these chords and you have the same exact chords as everyone else, but how do you make it unique? Okay, so picked another sound here. We had this garden flute. I thought this flute sounded pretty cool, so I used this. And I just use this to kind of make it my own, okay? And then if you followed along in the video, you would proceed to do your own here. So this is what we came up with, this little melody here, and then just pull up an octave. Okay, so my whole goal here was just pick sounds that were similar to the original or like the same vibe and just build on that. And you'll see as we go down, they'll start to get crazier and crazier and crazier. That is on purpose. So I'll just go through a few other sounds because they're super simple. So now we got this little pluck. Now this is actually for the bass, the little bass line we made. Okay, so I'll play that. Pretty simple. Moving on. This little solo flute / lead. Okay, now this is where things start to get a little crazy, right? As you can see, this melody we cooked up. This is a little crazy, and this is just to add some cool elements. So when we well, if we were to chop it, reverse it, you know, at the halftime, this would have like some cool elements, right? So that's why we kind of went crazy with that. So this is what it sounds like. All right, and then this is where we get into like the more synthy stuff, as you can see. So this is where I said it gets a little bit crazy, and I'll just play these here alone with this, and we'll throw on that bass. So just utilizing that mono, just giving us like something interesting. So I thought this was a little cool to throw in there, and then I did layer that with this sound here. And you can see the preset right there, the name. Okay, so I just layered that with this. You can see that delay. So that delay will come in handy when you like pitch it up and stuff. And then lastly, well, not lastly, but right here, I just added this sound effect. So we just add some sound effects in there. I don't know, I just clicked through the sounds. I thought this was a nice sound to use just for some texture, just to make it sound a little bit more unique. So and we just play around with the fifths a little bit, stuff like that. So there it is. I'll play it. All right, so that is like the raw melody. So keep in mind, this is not supposed to be the final product. This is all done on purpose to kind of make it sound wild and crazy. And now we're going to go ahead and condense it by, you know, obviously putting into a sample or just adding effects. So let's go ahead and talk about that part. Now we're going to talk about the sampling and effects, because this is what kind of made it kind of usable. So right now we're just kind of like a lot going on. So to fix that, of course, we will render it out so it's more usable. But we will put all of our sounds, every little vital here, we will put that into a little track here. Okay, so once we did that, now I'll just go over the ones that are important. So on this track, I added the OTT. Now the reason I add this is because it's kind of a cheat code. You can kind of thin up your melody without stripping it of everything like an EQ. So I just added that, and it kind of let it be more usable. So I'll show you all. So you can see it's less. I don't know why this won't stop. You can see it's not as muddy now. So now the other thing that I added was this pitch. Now this is like a major change. I want a +12 on the pitch, and the reason for this is so all of the frequencies can be usable. So now we'll turn it on. All right, so now everything is high. You got everything usable, and then we render it. As you can see, everything here is rendered, and I like to name whatever effect I use. So if I rendered it out without effects, I will name it that. And this is the reverse. Okay, so we reversed it, and then this is with the effects embedded in the sample. That way I know what I'm working with. Okay, and then this is like the final right here. Okay, and then we will put that final sample into another channel. And this is where we get like the main melody from. So, you know, we just add a little chorus on top, reverb, and then the main thing here is this halftime. Okay, and that's pretty much it. And then just a hard EQ just to kind of contain it. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And we'll go to the song, and I'll turn these on. So once I heard that, I knew it was time to get to the drums. So let's go ahead and talk about the drums and what we did here. Now we're gonna go ahead and talk about the drums. So I actually did a lot here. So typically you could just do like typical trap drums, right? But what I like to do, especially nowadays, is basically use a bunch of perks and everything. And I've always liked perks, but using a bunch of these perks in your like standard drums, and instead of just making, you know, instead of just making like a hi-hat pattern like this and putting a lot of chops in there, you could introduce those rhythms with other sounds. So you can see my hi-hat right here, it's very segmented, and you can see that I'm kind of bouncing between sounds, and this just makes it sound more full, and it makes it sound like it's doing more than it is, but it's not. So I'll play it. Right, and we got that consistent rhythm. So that's kind of the choice that I made there. And then a lot of you know, if you watch the YouTube videos especially, I like using 2 808s now. I think it's way more interesting to kind of bounce between a few 808s rather than just one. So for this first one, what I did is, of course, we just used the same pattern we did with our bass, but I just leave it a little bit of space there, right? And then what I would do is go to the next one and fill that space in with another 808. And typically this 808 would be a 808 where you can slide. All right, so it's kind of like a synth bass almost, but I'll let these play together. Okay, so that's what we did there. Drums all together. Just gonna turn these on. Right, so just something more interesting. So we'll play the drums section here on the first part. Oops, let's make sure we turn these on. Now, on this part, what I chose to do here is to basically, and I'll just mute this so we can see, this change was completely different. Like the vibe changed from this part, and hopefully it'll be on beat, but Like it wasn't just a melody change, it like changed the vibe. So with that, I went, okay, what we're gonna do, okay, so we're gonna build this a new pattern from scratch to match that vibe. So we slowed the drums up, we simplified them, and we used one 808. And we just kind of bounce around with this 808 here, and we're using the Makima 808. Again, all links will be in the description, or like if you do choose to go over to the producer portal and check it out, you'll get all of the files and sounds that I have here. So you get like the samples, the presets, the one shots, everything that I'm using here. So you don't got to worry about the actual like samples that I'm using. So yeah, this is the new drum pattern that we made. Okay, so I just want to match that tone over here. So I'll play it. Of course, we go through how to do all this right real time, but yeah, that's gonna be it for the breakdown. If you want to check it out, link will be in the description for this specific you know, I guess course or whatever. But yeah, links will be in the description, comment section down below. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.